I went on a journey and I went all over the Amazon to try and find out the truth about the Amazon. This idea of these nasty people destroying the Amazon, they're not. They're just people trying to make a living. And what I saw was this endless poverty trap. 3 years ago now, I bought an illegal coca plantation by mistake. These are raw coca leaves. They have the highest alkaloid content of any coca leaves in the world, which means they make really good cocaine. And they're mine. So I became a coca lord by mistake. Now, I didn't mean to buy a cocaine plantation, obviously, but I bought it over the phone. A friend of mine phoned me up, and he said, there's this piece of land at the end of a logging road, and the head of the national park needs someone to buy it. The illegal loggers are going up this track, and they're going through the land and into the national park to cut the hardwood trees. And if someone can buy that piece of land, we stand a chance of protecting that part of Manu National Park. But what I actually got, when I got there and saw it several months later, was 100 acres of severely degraded secondary rainforest and 2 hectares of illegal coca. I also got an illegal logging camp with an illegal logger living in it. That's Ilas there on the right. I bought the land off Tito, his dad, here on the left. And Ilas was one of the most infamous, notorious illegal loggers in the area. The national parks hated him. He was a thief, he was a liar, he was this, he was that. And as a result, I was absolutely terrified of him. He was so muscly. I've never seen a human being like, you can't kind of get it from that picture, but yeah. Anyway, I was terrified of him. And I would camp, and I'd camped on the land when I first went there, and I'd lie there and I could hear the chainsaws at night, and I'd come out in the morning and there'd be a massive pile of hardwood like in the driveway to my land, and then 2 hours later it'd gone. And this kind of went on, and then one day, so we were filming this as part of a TV documentary, and Gavin, the director, said to me, you've really got to go and meet this guy. And I said, I'm scared, I don't want to. And I talked to the national parks. One of them actually said, you've bought the most dangerous piece of land off the most dangerous family in the most dangerous part of southern Peru. And, that scared the hell out of me. And I'm camping on it. And a few years earlier, in exactly the same spot where I was camping, a group of geologists had been basically held up with guns and robbed. It was a scary prospect. So I didn't want to meet Ilas. Anyway, Gavin said, you're going to have to. And he forced me to do it. So we marched through the forest, and I tracked Ilas. He's really hard to find. I tracked him through. I could find wet footprints, and we did this for about an hour, and eventually I heard a chainsaw. And basically, I doorstepped this man in the middle of cutting a tree down with a whole film crew. And it was a really weird moment, because he was like, what the hell is going on? Really remote part of the Amazon. This bloke turns up with a boom pole and a camera. Anyway, he's not going to attack us, is he? Anyway, we sat down and we hung out, and I basically said, you got to leave. It's not working. You can't stay on this land. You're the bad illegal logger. I don't want you on this land. You're going to have to leave. And he spun me this line about how he had a disabled daughter, and it's all he could do, to survive and keep her, and keep his family alive. And I didn't believe him. So I'm going to show you this now. Hola. Hey, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Hola.
Baba?
¿Cómo estás?
Baba?
Yeah.
Baba?
Hello. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cuántos años? 5. Ah. I just thought I'd come and say hi, meet your family.
Ya, un día al principio cuando ha nacido, era una niña normal. Y a los 3 meses, cuando estaba haciendo pilar arroz, porque antes trabajábamos también arroz. Entonces el señor me dice, pon el saco. Entonces me agacho y me coge el motor a ella. Entonces empezó así a dar vueltas el motor. Y ahí, al principio pensé que ella estaba muerta. Ya entonces yo me doy cuenta a menudo que va creciendo ella a los 3 años y 3 años medio, ya, porque no era normal. O sea, yo veo a mi hija que no va al colegio, no va al jardín, y los otros niños sí van, entonces... O sea, a veces pienso, hasta incluso he llegado de quitarme la vida, o sea, a ella y a mí, porque se siente horrible. Tal vez yo no o sea, a mis familiares, a otras personas no lo digo, pero yo lo siento así.
Sí, entiendo.
Johnny, still want to kick him off the land?
No. No, this has just made my decision infinitely more complicated. I was all agreed in my own mind that I was going to chuck Ilas off the land until I went round to his house. You know, what sort of bastard would I be if I did? There's no way. Behind every horrific story lie a bunch of perfectly decent people just trying to survive. And I was completely unarmed as a human being to deal with it. I had no idea what I was going to do. So I went on a journey to find out the truth about the Amazon. Try and find out how can we tackle these problems. And we can tackle them by understanding them. So I went on a kind of journey of understanding. This is Erasmus. He's one of 35,000 gold miners in southern Peru. The gold mining is a huge environmental problem. You know, this is like a modern-day gold rush, but these guys are chasing dust. They're not chasing nuggets. And they use a whole load of chemicals within that process, mercury particularly. If I give you a sense of scale, there's a truck, a dot there. And you see that, you start realizing how big it is. There's whole towns have cropped up to supply this trade. In towns of thousands of people, there's prostitution, there's human trafficking, it's just crime. And, you know, it's a horrible modern-day gold rush. So I went to work with Erasmus on his gold mine. And this is one day, this is 6.5 grams of 24-karat gold. That's worth about $190. So it takes around 20 tons of toxic waste to make a gold wedding ring. Here's a little clip of me doing that.
Every 16 hours, the mats are rinsed and shaken out before the gold-bearing sludge is scraped into a barrel.
En este proceso el mercurio es lo que coge al oro. Esas chispitas que van, eso lo coge y lo junta. Según los expertos, dicen que el mercurio pues, es un elemento tóxico y hace mucho daño. Pero en cambio yo trabajo 32 años y no sufro ningún mal.
So he's mixing the mercury with the sludge?
Esto va a ser más o menos una hora, que una hora ya todo el mercurio lo va a coger al oro.
¿Una hora?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Una hora, sí. Este trabajo, así como lo estamos haciendo, legalmente, ante la ley, está prohibido. Hay unos métodos, ¿no? Hay otra tecnología que puede trabajar minería, sin mercurio, ¿no? Pero nosotros no tenemos ese capital. Y por eso estamos haciendo así, momentáneamente nomás.
Mercury poisoning can result in brain damage, kidney damage, lung failure, and possibly miscarriage. Illegal miners dump nearly 30 tons of this heavy metal into Peruvian rivers every year. And a recent study found that many people in local communities had mercury levels in their bodies 5 times the safe limit.
Somewhere in there, there's a whole lot of gold. I can't see any. So that's the image I took of that guy while he was doing. He stirred that mercury with his feet for an hour. When you do that, you realize these guys aren't rich, okay? The bad guys aren't rich. The gold miners aren't. No one's getting rich off this at all. It's actually the reverse. This guy wanted to go to university. He had gone to become a gold miner to save up for university. He was never going to go to university. He was poisoning himself to death. He hadn't been paid for 2 weeks. The other 2 workers that worked there hadn't been paid for 3 months. You know, and what I saw was this endless poverty cycle, this trap. People were stuck in this poverty trap that they couldn't get out of. The longer they worked and not got paid, the more they were committed to work. So it was all really just miserable and tragic. This was where we got our water from and washed every day. This is a gold mining tailing pond full of mercury. So it makes you realize that these guys aren't doing that for fun, you know? This idea of these nasty people destroying the Amazon, they're not. They're just people trying to make a living.